Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just a little under 2 months away from its official release by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, as well as creator George Lucas. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Episode 9 that a lot of fans are very excited about is, of course, the return of Luke, Lando Calrissian, Han Solo, Leia, and others like Palpatine, etc. in this movie that are really going to bring us back to the originals and the prequels in a very different way by JJ. And that's the thing about this film, is that it really is being treated as the culmination of the Skywalker saga. Now, I'm sure that all of you are very well aware about many of the reshoots and the rewrites that took place during this year of 2019, and even during late 2018, which is when the first rewrites took place by JJ and Chris Terrio, while George Lucas came on board in order to take the actual movie in a different direction. Now, on top of all of this, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the big adjustments by Disney and Lucasfilm that is very unfortunate, and yet, once again, another terrible decision by Disney, Kathleen Kennedy, and everybody over at Disney, this is where things begin to get rather intriguing as well for Episode 9. Now, specifically, what's really interesting about all of this is that it's explained that through many of the rewrites and the reshoots of the film is that Disney and Lucasfilm adjusted many aspects of the second and third acts of the movie. It's described that one of the big changes had to do with a key part in the second act that would have been a fan favorite scene of the film that would require complex special effects and CGI that would bring Luke, Leia, Han, and even Lando Calrissian with Chewbacca and R2-D2, as well as 3PO in a reunion scene that would have been in the form of a flashback within the middle of the movie. It's explained that Lucasfilm was working very hard on the scene, and that the main reason as to why they were having many issues with the segment being flawless was the fact that the scene was not seamless and had many flaws, and using the old Carrie Fisher footage from The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens was not matching with Mark, Billy, and Harrison Ford scenes in the shot. It's explained that Disney had planned and tried to work the scene out, but the scene was ultimately cut from the film, where the flashback was said to serve as a flashback that served as a scene when Lando Calrissian tells Rey, Finn, and Poe a story about Luke, Han, and Leia and the whole group, and how there was peace for many years, after of course the destruction of the Empire, and that Lando had even went on adventures with Luke while he was a Jedi Master. The scene was also cut due to running time conflicts, as well as due to reshoots that took place in late summer of this year. So let's go over a couple of parts about this and as to why I think that this is a horrible decision by Disney and Lucasfilm. Even if they had conflicts with this particular moment, at the very minimum, they could have made it work if they wanted to make it a very brief sequence between both, Carrie, Mark, Billy, Harrison, and everybody else involved with that particular segment, such as Chewbacca, C-3PO, R2-D2. It was said to be a flashback that was actually going to be shown to the audience, while Lando Calrissian tells a story about his past life with the gang, right? With the great group that we all know and love in the original trilogy, right? So the fact that they wanted to get the band together again, between Lando, Luke, Han, Leia, Chewbacca, C-3PO, R2-D2, it would have been just perfect. And a lot of it was due to technical conflicts with the CGI and the special effects. It wasn't coming out seamless. In my point of view, it's Disney. I think that they really could have made it work if they wanted to. And if you look at Terminator Dark Fate, it could have been just something as simple and brief as that. In the very beginning of Dark Fate, I won't give anything away, but there is something in the beginning of the movie that does indeed use a specific type of technology that you guys will know exactly what I'm talking about right now if you saw Terminator Dark Fate. Did I like Dark Fate? I did not like the movie, that's my honest opinion, but moving on forward, with The Rise of Skywalker, I will say that this movie does have a lot of potential still to mark itself down as the best of the sequel trilogy, but I still feel that this is a disaster. I feel like that this scene being cut from the movie and not being in the finalized version of the film is a big mistake by Disney and Lucasfilm. They really could have at least, minimized the scene down to like 30 seconds or 10 seconds, whatever it could have been, right? It could have been something so brief to the point where fans would at least be able to respect what Disney and Lucasfilm was able to actually put into the actual movie. Now, like I say, this is also due to many of the reshoots and running time conflicts and all that jazz, right? The fact that they're really trying to make this movie very much like a satisfying story for a majority of fans around the world to end the Skywalker saga in a unique way that's going to really resonate with fans in a positive sense. It really seems like that Disney, at certain times, is trying too hard on what's going to work and what's not going to work. And I think that when a company thinks like that, that's when you usually lead yourself to making bad decisions, at least in my point of view with Disney Star Wars. We've seen a prime example of this with The Last Jedi. You know, you guys may recall that originally, you know, the original ending of The Last Jedi was actually said to involve Luke Skywalker using the Force in multiple different ways against those AT-ATs before Rian Johnson wanted to change that idea to Luke just standing there and getting shot at by the AT-ATs. So you can see how, you know, a lot of writers and directors go back and forth on certain ideas. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to morning.